Hello everybody and welcome back to this old school game here. We're back again in another video today. And so there's this new wicked custom PS4 controller that is being created by a Romanian tinker named Volpe Andre. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I'm sorry if I mispronounce it by any chance. This custom controller isn't really your normal everyday special edition controller like your Star Wars Darth Vader or maybe even your Call of Duty Shit Ops 3 or maybe even your Uncharted controller. You know, your little blue Uncharted controller and your gray Call of Duty controller, and you know, we all know how the Star Wars controller looks. This is not really just some logo that's slapped on the controller or just like a little painted over, you know, look like it's just a little different color design or some shit like that. No, this controller has practically almost every little detail of it just fucking changed. It is amazing how much work this guy actually put into this controller, and it looked like it took quite a bit of time into it, but like almost every little bit of it is changed except for really the analog sticks. From what it looks like, the analog sticks just look like they're like a little light brown kind of, but that's probably just from what the lighting looks. It's almost really hard for me to decide like where to actually start off on talking about this on this controller. Like, do I start off with the D-pad? Do I start off with like how the controller looks just by looking at it? I don't know. But what I am going to go off by like the basic controller, just by like you're just picking up, you're holding it in your hands, and you're just pretty much just like looking down on it. It's like, I'm just going to tell you what it looks like. It pretty much just has like this little pale colorish to it, like somewhat like your skin tone, like a white skin tone kind of, like with a bit of yellow mixed in with it too. And there's also like a bunch of blood splattered all over it, and even with these two little cuts on the handle, and on the handle looks like the cuts are also a little bruised out a little bit, like the blood kind of dried, like how it would if you actually did get kind of like brutally cut like that, kind of like bruised up a little bit. That's what it kind of looks like with the cuts, and like there's just blood splattered all over it. I'd imagine it would be on the back too, but there's no pictures of the back of the controller yet from what I found. I even went to the guy's Facebook page, which I will have down there in the link description. He has a whole bunch of pictures, a whole bunch of other shit that he did, but we'll get to all that at the end of the video. The PS button is also red, and now going off to the D-pad. The D-pad is red. You can see the D-pad on it, but like what looks like it might have been like super glued on it, or somehow he has these that looks like freshly pulled bloody fucking teeth. From what it looks like, that like it was just like pulled straight out of some dude's mouth. It's some bloody teeth, either like super glued or just attached to the D-pad somehow. But that's your D-pad pretty much, just some bloody fucking teeth. It is really awesome. I really like how that looks to me. That is like a really awesome feature. That's probably one of the coolest features on this controller. Like, I could tell you what my favorite feature is, but we'll get to that here pretty soon, real soon actually. Another thing that's also changed like on the controller is the X, square, triangle, and circle button. Those buttons are pretty much just like bullet castings, you know, just like bullet. That's pretty much just all. It's like all of them they just look pretty much the same. I'll have pictures brought up throughout this whole video. I'll even go off to the Facebook page and actually get every picture that he actually has and actually posted up on here so you guys can actually see with me. So yeah, that's pretty much all it is for the X buttons and all that. That's actually kind of common in most what would you call custom made PlayStation controllers and even Xbox controllers. I actually see that quite often, a little bit, but I don't know. I honestly don't know what other thing he would have went with for those buttons too. Other than that, we are actually going to get to the part that I'm actually most excited for. My favorite part of the whole fucking controller is actually the triggers, the L1 and R1s and all that. But what we are going to start off with on the back is actually the R1 and the L1 buttons. The L1 and the R1 buttons are actually fucking eyeballs. Yes, eyeballs. From what you see on this fucking screen right now, that is exactly what you see. It looks absolutely creepy and awesome, right? You know, the R1 and the L1 buttons are the freaking are eyeballs, and the freaking R2 and the L2 buttons are freaking fingers. And he actually has pictures up on his Facebook account where it just has the like the little fingers, like whenever he was making the fingers before they were even put on the controller. From what it looks like, it could be like some sort of clay or something like that, from how he actually formed the fingers. At first, just by looking at it without me actually going to his Facebook and seeing what the fingers actually look like before it was actually completed, For just by looking at like the controller, it looks like kind of wood. Yeah, I know. Like what the fuck, Bradley? Really? But yeah, it looks kind of like wood, just a little bit. You know, you gotta admit, it looks just a little bit like it, just kind of. But you can mistake it for it. You know, but actually, it looks kind of like clay once you go off to the Facebook page and actually look at the picture of how we made it. But that right there is actually my favorite feature about this whole thing. I wish we could have had a little picture of like the back of the controller. You know, like how the back of it would look. Like maybe there's like fingerprints on the back of the controller, like, you know, bloody fingerprints, like how you would hold it, like where your fingers would be. Maybe there's bloody fingerprints there. You know, that would be really cool in my opinion. I wish we would have got a picture of the back of it, but, you know, like, at least get, like, every picture, like, all the fucking sides of the controller, you know, just go all out with the pictures, you know, fuck it, we want to see everything. I want to see everything, at least. Of course, this controller is actually more for display or decoration, but you will actually be able to play any type of game. You know, you will be able to connect this to your PlayStation, actually start up a game and actually start playing with it. It will be fully functional and everything like that, but the only thing wrong with it is that it might be just a little, you know, uncomfortable with how the only thing that might be uncomfortable is probably the D-pad and also the triggers. Just the fingers for the triggers. You know, the eyeballs, those are fine. I'm pretty sure you can get over that, but just how the fingers are, it may take a little bit to get used to. But you can actually use this to play your games. You know, the fingers might come off, you know, it may get a little wear and tear, you know, who knows how much this guy's actually selling it for. He actually says he is going to sell this and every other controller and probably whatever type of system he actually does custom make. And yes, on his Facebook page he does have a whole bunch of other pictures of other controllers he did. He has a Battlefield themed controller. I'm going to show up a picture up on the screen. I believe this is the Battlefield themed controller. I don't know, I'm not too sure. But he also has like my favorite from what he has a like Spyro custom made PlayStation 1 system, which is my favorite thing that he made. Spyro was one of my favorite PS1 games. Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage to be exact. I have a little bit of gameplay on the channel, never finished it though, so if you guys want to, just go off like 2-3 pages back, go way back in the channel and just watch that. But you know, he also does custom made, like custom designs for also GameCube and Game Boys, and I believe that's really the only system he has up on there. But the GameCube is pretty much like a little chainsaw looking thing, like how if you would get like the Resident Evil chainsaw controller for the PlayStation 2 or the GameCube. I actually own one for the PlayStation 2, the orange one, yeah, the orange one. But it actually looks somewhat like that. That's what it kind of reminded me of, was the Resident Evil chainsaw controller. But it actually has like a little chainsaw, like the chainsaw blade, like around where you would plug in the controller port. So that's where the chainsaw blade was on the GameCube controller. But he also had this to say to Eurogamer about all that. He said that he was selling whatever controller he creates and whatever controller he is planning on creating and whatever controller, I believe it might be on his Facebook, if he does decide to make more of those. And also he is planning on making a For Honor controller for the Xbox One only. I hope he kind of makes one of these controllers for the Xbox One, like the Resident Evil controller for the Xbox One, because I own an Xbox One and I think that would just be awesome. Even though Resident Evil 7 is more made for the PlayStation 4 with the VR and all that, but I would get this controller and use it only for Resident Evil games. You know, whether I'm playing an old school Resident Evil or if I'm playing the brand new Resident Evil, I don't give a fuck. I would only use this game on those and other horror games like the Evil Within or survival horror or whatever. But I am totally looking forward to this. This thing just looks absolutely amazing. It is just, it blew my mind. I would have made a video on it earlier and I missed a few videos every other day. The other day, just 2 days, I've been a little busy. I've been signing fucking applications for shit and a whole bunch of shit's just been going on and everything like that. But other than that, guys, I'm in off the video there. You know, don't forget to like, subscribe if you feel like I'm worthy enough, if you feel like you want to keep up with all the newest gaming news, movie news, whatever. And whatever you guys want to see come out of this channel, please put down in the comment section below, along with what you think about this video. You guys excited for the Resident Evil controller? You guys excited for Resident Evil 7? Because that is coming here in a few days. What games are you excited for besides Resident Evil 7? Are you guys excited for any of these? For that fucking For Honor controller? Whatever, put it down in the comment section below, along with what you want to see come out of this channel, whether if it's a fucking gameplay video. Do you want me to do live streams on this channel? Try to do live streams, at least so my computer will handle it. Like, I don't know, just put down in the comment section below what you want to see come out of this channel. And other than that, guys, I want you to have a good day, night, afternoon, whatever time you guys are watching this. As always, keep it old school, and I'll catch you guys in the next video later. And as always, thank you for watching.